I happened to be on a radio show that was called The Fighting Coast Guard in Washington in 1943, and interviewed on that show a chap by the name of Vernon Duke, who had written a musical review called Tars and Spars. It was a recruiting show because the Spars, the Coast Guard was the little outfit. We only had 10,000, it was a 10,000 quota for the women in the Coast Guard Reserve. And we had not hit that quota, so that was the reason for the show. I went out on the audition for this show and was accepted. We went into rehearsal in Palm Beach, Florida. I got my orders for that, and I was on the train going to Palm Beach with Sid Caesar, who of course became a very big name. And we went into rehearsals for a month at the Palm Beach Biltmore Hotel, which had been taken over by the Coast Guard as the Spar training station at that time. And then we opened at the Paramount Theater in Palm Beach, and we were a huge success. This was a big show, 75 people. And we started out in Miami and worked our way up the Eastern Seaboard, played Broadway for 2 weeks. And this was 4 shows a day, a 1-hour review. And they played in between these live shows, they played movies. And we were on the road for 11 months. We played over 1,000 shows. Our audiences were very responsive. And I think, you know, when you were in uniform and they knew that you were legitimately in the military, this country was so supportive. They really looked forward to this show. And of course, we did have our big name with the show was Victor Mature, who was a big star, a Hollywood star at that time. He had been brought in from Greenland, I think it was, where he was on a Coast Guard cutter or something. And of course, he just knocked the socks off the gals because he was so attractive. And we were extremely well received and just got lots of publicity. And it was really, you know, it made us feel very special. We would go to military hospitals and visit with the casualties that had come in from various and sundry places. Some of us Spars would ride out to Walter Reed Hospital, which was the Army hospital, military hospital. And the casualties were coming in from North Africa at that time. And we would go out and once a week, we would write letters for these boys, and would just in general, you know, try to visit with them and give them a little boost, and they were in
as soon as we got our mission,
shape.
then we go back to sea.
Columbia Pictures, Columbia Studios in Hollywood bought the title and 10% of the cast, of the original cast, and to make a film in Hollywood. And once again, I was fortunate. I was in the right place at the right time, so that I was one of the ones that was chosen for this to go be in this film. But they had for the main stars of the film, which was a typical wartime movie, very airy and to make people feel good. Alfred Drake was the star. He had starred on Broadway in Oklahoma. And Janet Blair, who was a very talented singer-dancer, was the female lead. And then Sid Caesar, his first show, he was 21 years old and hysterical. And then there was a terrific dancer by the name of Mark Platt, but Sid was the only one who was legitimate Coast Guard.